Westbrook. You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today, our Sixers draft preview continues, and today we're talking about a really interesting stretch big, guys, that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. Before we get started, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching us live, be sure to comment your thoughts, trash talk, who knows what. But also, to help me break it down is my man, Tiago. You know him on Twitter, at @TScabia. What's good, Tiago?
You're good, man. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's last name. I'm just going to go straight with Mamu. That's what he's known for. That's his nickname moving forward. So, Mamu it is.
Yeah, man. I did a full few hours of deep dive into this guy, and I'm telling you, it was a ton of fun. He is Sandro Mamukelashvili. He was born in New York, raised in Georgia, but this is one of the most really, truly interesting pick and roll bigs, I think, in this draft. I'll start the tape, Tiago. Tell us a little bit about Sandro Mamukelashvili.
Wow. You get double points for that. Yeah, it's funny you said pick and roll because, yes, he's definitely a pick and roll threat, especially off that pick and pop. But he was actually the only collegiate player to register in every single play type possession. So at least one possession for every play type possession. So NBA.com has a synergy stat tracker that they also track collegiate stats, and they track a ton of post up, pull up, spot up, cutting, rolling, that kind of thing. And he registered every single one of them, which tells you right off the bat, like the versatile player that he is as a big stretch big for Seton Hall. So yeah, Big East Player of the Year, averaged something like 17 points, 7 rebounds, shot 33% on 4 attempts from deep, and those attempts kind of doubled the last year. Also had 3.5 or so assists per game, which is very interesting for a big to have that many assists in a game. So as you can tell, he's just highly versatile, highly, switchable, playable across multiple areas of the floor. And, for the Sixers who are looking for something like that in their center position, man, that is quite a name to talk about here because he does a lot of different things, like you said. So it's exciting to talk about him. The question is, can he be enough of a rim protector type at the next level to survive? That's really going to be the key.
Yeah, let's go on the strengths because we just saw a few highlights just now that truly highlight. Like, there you go. He reads the passing lanes and runs this is a 6'10" guy, 240 pounds, and his footwork, his fluidity, his handle, all that kind of stuff truly stand out when you watch the tape. He's a really good floor spacer, just kind of that modern stretch big that I think the Sixers would be loving to add to their roster. Tiago, what's some of his strengths?
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching him, one of the first things that I wrote down was this guy's a guard trapped in his center's body, right? So
right there, right? Look at
So that fluidity you're talking about, that handle, is something you rarely see from a big, especially in college. They're mostly static. They play on the post. They spot up in the corner. But Mamu, man, he is not shy, first of all, to pull up from way downtown. So I haven't yet to see a big in college basketball that shoots at the range that he's done. I mean, he's shooting a 4-point range territory, which is super impressive. I was watching a game against Villanova, and I mean, they were looking at him like, are you kidding me? You're going to shoot that? And he was just knocking it down super smooth, super fluid. So the shooting element is definitely something to really keep an eye on. Like you said, the handle, especially in the open court. I mean, he's a guy that rebounds, pushes pace, and he's going to shoot it from right there, like that 4-point range. Boom. Unconscious. But he'll push pace. He'll attack mismatches in space. And he's got a nice little hesitation, change of direction dribble. Really, really interesting for a big that big and that long and that kind of fluid. So that part of his game is something also to keep an eye on. For me, one of the things that I really enjoyed about is, so again, it's the shooting, the polish, the fluidity, but I thought defensively out in space, it was really fun to watch because, he's able to connect to guards out on the perimeter at a very high level. I mean, he does not get shaken off the dribble. He really stays glued to a lot of these guards in college basketball. And in the NBA Combine, he tested something like 11.63 in lane agility drill, which is very, very high, or a good score for a center. So that tells his ability to be a switchable player at the NBA, get out on perhaps some smaller forwards. Who knows? Maybe even some like two guards that have a little bit of ball handling ability. So it's the shooting, I think. It's the playmaking. It's the versatility. And it's the ability to defend in space. I think those are the things that the Sixers want from that big position. And I think those are the things they'll be able to get from Mamu at that big position. So, yeah, very interesting player. I really enjoyed watching it for sure.
Yeah. I haven't seen those spin moves since, like doing this back when we were looking at Jahlil Okafor, man. That spin move, that footwork. The difference is a top 5 pick versus a second round pick. That's the main difference here, ultimately. But you touched on the defense. Yeah, like clearly he has, lateral quickness issues, but he does play with a lot of intensity that I think that I saw on tape. As you see there, flexing. I love to see that. The other thing that I caught in terms of weakness is this guy seemingly went from unstoppable, just tearing it up from game to game, and then just disappearing. There are definitely a lot of stretches where I just didn't see him at all impact the game. Did you see that at all as well?
For sure. I mean, one of the things I wrote down was that he just not assert himself physically in the game. So, I mean, yes, he has guard-like traits, but dude, you're still a big. And when you get a smaller matchup in the paint, just go up with it and take advantage of your size. And he really does not do that. I am a little bit concerned about his ability to assert himself physically at the NBA level. He's kind of a guy who's an older prospect, so I don't see him adding much more strength to his game. So if he's going to go up against some of those bigger NBA centers, it's going to be really tough for him to anchor down and defend at a very high level in the interior of the paint. On top of that, I mean, it's really the rim protection as a weak side rim player. He does not have a very explosive vertical kind of element to his game. And when you see guys attacking the rim, he's usually just doesn't have that explosive, that lift to contest players at the rim. So, you're talking about playing a space lineup around him. He's going to be relied upon to make some plays in the paint, and I just don't see that from him. So, it's something that you're going to have to live with because the offensive skills, as we're seeing here on tape, are very, very enticing. So, whether you can live with that or not, the Sixers have a couple really good perimeter players on the roster right now, like Ben and Matisse, and they may be able to live with a guy like Mamu because these guys are generally pretty good at, denying dribble penetration and not allowing guys into the paint. So, yeah, it's really a question about what you want out of him. I don't see him anything more than like a 10, perhaps most 15-minute player at the NBA, which, again, is fine because, those are usually the minutes that you need when Joel is resting or when Joel is, sitting out a game or so. So, yeah, I mean, Mamu, man, you got to live with the good and you got to live with the bad. But I think the good far outweighs the bad, especially for a second-round prospect.
Yeah. I already started doing my mock draft simulators, and I ended up with Trey Murphy in the first round and then Mamu in the second round. And I'm not going to lie, like that would be almost a near home run draft if that were the case. But let's talk about fit with the Philadelphia 76ers. And very clearly, I am very pro Sandro Mamukelashvili on the Philadelphia 76ers in that second round. I love the way this guy not only offensively, can shoot and can dribble and can move much like a guard, but I love the way he gets others involved. Just to see that pass right there. He's got great feel. He's got great, he's a quick reader. You saw the Sixers offense just absolutely die when it comes to ball movement late in the playoffs this year. I think Sixers fans would absolutely head over heels fall in love with this guy on the roster. And I'm just already envisioning this guy on the Delaware Blue Coats just tearing it up with the way they run their system down there where, pace and space, pick and roll offense. That guy is tailor-made for Daryl Morey's system down there. So I would love this addition to the Sixers. What about you?
Yeah, the passing is very interesting because the Sixers don't really have great passes at the center position. Joel's okay, and he can make some really good reads. Dwight Howard is just a disaster pretty much at everything he does on the court. But having a center that can pass and be such a quick decision maker, I mean, you can talk about doing things high-low with Ben. Out of the perimeter, guys cut. He's able to find them. He passes off the live dribble, which is really, something you don't see a lot from centers. So those things are very, very exciting. I think the fit with the Sixers is really good. And one of the things that really excites me is that perimeter gravity that we talked about, that 4-point range at the NBA. You're going to ask for centers to go out there and defend them way out there. I don't know, man. That's a lot to ask. And if they are going to do that, now you're opening up all kinds of driving lanes for your guards to really come in and slice through the heart of the defense. So I think that perimeter gravity that the Sixers really do not have at the center position when Joel is out of the game, it's something that they can really benefit from as a roster. And they will definitely get that from Mamu. I think he's perhaps the most polished kind of stretch big / center player in the draft. And I do think that, he's going to be available in that mid to late second round range. And, the Sixers are going to be in that position to attack or even try to move up and get him if they feel necessary. So yeah, he's definitely it, man. He's definitely one of those guys that the Sixers should have very circled in their list.
Yep. Just from spacing alone, just from being able to step on an NBA court, make those quick passes, get others involved. I see this really high up there for the Sixers in that second round. Thiago, final thoughts? Anything you want to plug, man?
Final thoughts is that we're coming down to the stretch run here. There's 2 more weeks, give and take.
Crazy.
We've got a few more guys lined up. There is a lot still to cover. And what I'm trying to do is try to cobble this all together, put out some articles on who the Sixers should really focus on based on what their needs are. They have very specific needs on the roster. I think they should use the draft to address a few of them. Will Daryl Morey do that? I do not know. I'm skeptical about it, but I'm hopefully he does.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just put up a video on the top 5 games from Tyrese Maxey, and I'm just thinking back to this time last year about how high we did so many draft scouting reports last year this time, and Tyrese Maxey was among the top of the top. I go back. I also put out a Matisse Thybulle video. He was my number 1 guy that year. So this is heaven, man. This is Christmas is right around the corner. So make sure you. Yeah, go ahead.
Just one more thing. Last year, if you guys followed us at the live stream, when the Sixers pick came around, it was pretty consensus around the table that Tyrese Maxey should have been the guy. So we know a little bit of who they should target and who they should go for. We were not wrong on that pick, nor the Isaiah Joe pick, which we're all in on, and we're all pretty high on him still. So some good intel when you follow us along.
Teddy says I play with this guy on a college 2K roster. He's a beast. I love it. Thanks for joining, Teddy. Guys, stick around. We're going to do Jeremiah Robinson Earl right after this. So when we hit end, we're going to do a new video, and we're going to talk about a Villanova Wildcat. So make sure you follow Thiago on Twitter at @tscabia. For all of our scouting reports, they're here at the Painted Lines YouTube channel. They're also out. If you just want the audio, they're also over there at thepaintlines.com. Check that out for Thiago, for myself. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.
And the Sixers win it! Wow! Oh, man, and being just posterized Russell Westbrook. You love the